Hello everyone, Marlene aka SnowGardener307. We are going to do some overnight oats. I've been talking about them and a lot of you guys have asked. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to do 3 different versions. So let's get this done. So the first thing we have is we have some mason jars here. It doesn't matter what size you use. You can use the smaller jelly ones, and these ones, they fit perfect, but you've got to be a little bit more careful. And then I've got, some different ones. You can see I've got a hodgepodge of jars. This is what is in the house right now. I've got a whole bunch more, but they're out in the shed and it's cold. So we're going to make this work. We are going to do 4 right here that are going to be for Peyton and Bridger. So they are going to be full fat, regular sugar. We're going to do these 5 for me. Of course, I could make them with the almond milk and the sugar-free stuff, but they don't care. And they like the original sugar, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for them. The first thing I do is I go ahead and take a half a cup of oatmeal. I do have a canning funnel that makes it a lot easier to do this. So let's go ahead and get oatmeal in all of these. Now, let me tell you guys, when we first started out, I had some regular oatmeal. Now, what I had in my pantry was the quick oats. And both of them work just fine. Next, we're going to go ahead and put chia seeds in. We're going to do a half a tablespoon into everybody's. These add a great texture. They also do firm it up quite a bit. I actually prefer when I eat mine to add a little bit more almond milk because I like mine a little bit more soupy per se.
Gonna let the sun shine in today.
Next, we're gonna go ahead and do maple syrup. I am going to go ahead and do sugar-free, and the guys are gonna go ahead and do a regular maple syrup. You could use any kind that you have. I do prefer the Maple Grove Farms, but generic works just as good.
Hey, I've been dreaming about you every night I see.
Next, we're going to go ahead and do some brown sugar. I'm going to go ahead and do the Swerve Ultimate Sugar Replacement, the brown sugar, whatever kind of brown sugar you have. For the boys, I've got regular brown sugar right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put theirs in first because I already have a tablespoon in theirs. So it's 1 tablespoon for each one. I'm getting ready to put a new thing of brown sugar in. This is the base for all of the recipes that I make. Now, the first person that I learned to do this version from is my friend Chrissy over at Planning Us Healthy. So I will link her recipes. Just know that I have modified them a little bit, and one of them is my creation. The first one that we're going to go ahead and talk about, though, is we're going to go ahead and talk about carrot cake overnight oats. I have modified her version, and let me tell you guys what we're going to be adding to these. We're going to be making 2 of these, one for me and one for my husband. So we're going to go ahead and move some of these off to the side, and we've got my version and Bridger's version there. The first thing that we need to add is a 1/4 cup of shredded carrot. So we're going to go ahead and just get a 1/4 cup of carrots. And we have not tried these ones, you guys. This is a brand new recipe for us. And Chrissy's recipe also called for frozen pineapple. I love pineapple, but pineapple was pretty expensive. And to me, I've never had pineapple in my carrot cake. So I decided just to not do it. And it does call for raisins as well. I've got some golden raisins. Bridger does not want raisins, so I'm going to go ahead and put my raisins in. And this is 12 grams of raisins. That's what her recipe calls for, so we're going to stick with that. Then it calls for cake batter extract. This is what this looks like right here. I usually get it off of Amazon because my store does not carry it. We're going to go ahead and do 1 teaspoon of cake batter extract. And this is sometimes can be a little bit bitter, so just be aware of that. We're going to go ahead and follow her recipe as far as this for the first time. I poured it a little bit short in Bridger's, and I'm going to pour it a little bit short in mine. I like the flavor it adds, but like I said, it does get a little bit bitter, so you've got to be careful. So we probably truly are doing maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of cake batter. Then we're going to go ahead and add some cinnamon and some allspice. We're going to do 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/8 teaspoon of allspice. So there's our cinnamon. Grab some allspice. Now we're going to go ahead and do our milk. So for me, I am using the almond milk. This is the unsweetened. This is the shelf stable, just because that is what was on sale at my store. You can do unsweetened and the unsweetened vanilla. And I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2 cup. And like I said, when I eat my overnight oats, I like to add some more almond milk to it. That was actually too much, but it kept on pouring, but it will be okay. So we're going to go ahead and pour that into there. And then we are actually, before I mix, I'm going to go ahead and add all of my milk to mine, just so that I can rinse this out and not have whole milk in mine. So let's go ahead and do 1/2 cup in each of these. This is what I was talking about, how you have to be careful when you put it into these smaller jars, because it's got to go work its way down through the oatmeal and through everything that you have in the jar. So if you use the smaller jars, beware of that. One thing as well, there's nothing saying you have to use mason jars. If you have got bowls that have lids that you prefer to do it in, then go ahead and do that. I just always have mason jars around, and it makes it super easy to just pack it in my lunch like this. There we go. So 1/2 cup into each of these. And if I had a spoon and I was sitting there pushing on it, it would go a little bit quicker. And this one's taking a little bit longer. You guys can see the air is trying to work out. It's getting there. That one's struggling, so we are going to go ahead and grab our spoon. Look at, as soon as I put my spoon in there, how quick that went down. Then I'm going to go ahead and rinse this out so that I can do the whole milk in everybody else's. And of course, would it matter really if they were mixed? Not really. For me, it's just more, I'm trying to eat healthier, so if I'm not putting whole milk into mine, I'd rather not put whole milk in there. Now for the guys, we've got our gallon of whole milk here, and we will go ahead and add in the milk. And this version is done. So the carrot cake oats are done. We will stir those, don't worry. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the milk into the others. We are actually, I guess we're doing 4 versions because Peyton wanted a different version than what I was making today. And that's the nice thing about overnight oats, is everybody can pick their own flavor. And it's super easy because the way that I make them, everybody's base is exactly the same. So I have my spoon in mine here, and these of course have no flavoring in them yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix those up since the spoon is in those. And then I will go ahead and mix my carrot cake oats and then Bridger's. And next we are going to do the peanut butter and jelly oats. So let's get these mixed in. And I'm not too worried about mixing those exactly perfect because they still need other things in them. So let's go ahead and mix these up because these are completely done. And with the overnight oats, I typically just eat them cold, but you can heat them up if you want to. And with the carrots in this one, it looks quite a bit thicker than I'm used to. And before I eat it in the morning, I will mix it again. I just want to make sure that everything that needs to be down into the milky substance, whatever you want to call it, it's down in there. So there's mine. Let's go ahead and give Bridgers a stir. You guys can probably tell already why I prefer the little bit bigger jars. Yeah, they only fill up about halfway, but it makes stirring them much easier. And I will probably go to the shed and get some more larger containers out to make sure I've got enough for oats, because a lot of times Peyton wants more than one for himself as well. All right, so there is our carrot cake overnight oats. Next, let's go ahead and do our peanut butter and jelly. We're also going to do Peyton's because his is peanut butter chocolate chip, so his is just a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and use our PB Fit powder. I get this from Sam's Club. Of course, you can get PB2 powder, which is basically the same thing. We're going to go ahead and put 2 tablespoons in. So we've got my version and one for Peyton, one for Bridger that are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons into everybody's. And theirs, you can see, are going to be super easy to stir. Mine is going to take a little bit more delicate approach. So let's stir theirs up first since it's easiest. And then Peyton's version is pretty much done besides adding some chocolate chips on top. So let me stir this up. And you could add vanilla extract to this if you wanted to have some kind of extract. And I feel like I might have in the past, but that's not going to happen today. So there is Peyton's. Let's go ahead and grab some chocolate chips. And I just use whatever I have open. And it looks like he's going to get some Ghirardelli milk chocolate chips to go into his. So for him, I don't measure anything. I just put a nice little handful on top. And so there is Peyton's chocolate peanut butter, and that's a full fat version. And then we've got Bridger's peanut butter and jelly oats right here. And let's see, I'm looking at my recipe to make sure because we have not actually made peanut butter and jelly ones before, so this is brand new for us as well. Chrissy is so good at coming up with new versions. And like I said, if you take the base that she has given us, and you can do pretty much anything. And I, of course, am making a mess. Let's clean that up really quick. So now all we're going to do for Bridger's, and then mine after that, is we are just going to add some jelly on top. And of course, the jelly jar that I'm getting Bridger's out of has to be all the way down at the bottom. So let me get a scraper. We're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of jelly. And I am running out of measuring spoons, so let's get this done. I am just using some raspberry jelly for him. So whatever is your favorite jelly, I would imagine would work. This was what was open in our fridge for them for a full sugar version. So he said he was absolutely fine using what was opened. So we've got 1 tablespoon there. Perfect. Then we're going to go to 1/2. And these oats are very forgiving. As far as me, of course, I try to track them pretty dang close or measure them pretty close. But for the guys, if it's a little bit over or a little bit under, it will be absolutely fine. So there is his jelly. And then we're just going to leave it just like that. So there's his peanut butter and jelly. Now here's mine. And you can see why I prefer the bigger jars. because you can see how much harder that is to stir in. So just think of that. You notice that I did not put the carrot cake one in this small jar, and that's because I don't believe it would have fit with the carrots in there. It may have, but boy, it would have been really tough to stir. So let's get this peanut butter stirred in here. That is the washer, because anytime I'm filming, it seems like I'm doing lots of other chores. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the Smucker's sugar-free strawberry preserves. And mine is a little bit easier to get out since it's a pretty new jar. So we're going to go ahead and do, I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon like that if I can get it into the jar, not all out of the jar. And of course, these are mine, so we're just going to use my fingers there. It will be fine. We're going to kind of eyeball it. If anything, that's probably a little bit under. So there is my peanut butter and jelly overnight oats. We're going to go ahead and make some almond chocolate chip ones. And I didn't realize I had 5 jars out for myself, or else I probably would have done another type. So I might turn one of these into another one. So we'll set that off to the side. First of all, I've got some almond extract, and obviously a brand new jar because we love our almond extract. I don't like pouring this straight into the jar because I tend to get a little bit heavy-handed. We're going to go ahead and do 1 teaspoon, but as I told you guys, I'm running short on teaspoons, so we're just going to go ahead and do this. And then pour it in. I just am afraid that I'm going to pour too much in. So 1 teaspoon, and that is quite a bit, you guys. It definitely packs a punch of almond flavor. If you love almond extract, then you'll absolutely love that. That one looks like it might have gotten a little bit heavy-handed. Teaspoon there. Then we're going to do some chocolate chips. Bridger is going to get the, did you see that when I was measuring that? That's what I was talking about. I do that a lot, so we're going to go a little bit less there. Bridger is going to get some Ghirardelli chocolate chips over the top. And I'm going to take a little bit of this one and put it into that one because it was a little bit lower. And I'm going to use some sugar-free ones. Let's go ahead and stir Bridger's up, and then we'll get the chocolate chips put on top for him. And then what I do is I either just put a sticky note on them, or I write with a dry erase marker on there so everybody knows whose oats are whose. And they also know what flavor. So if they've asked me to make more than 1 flavor, they know exactly which ones they've gotten. And there is almond chocolate chip for Bridger. For me, I'm just going to get this almond stirred in. Then we're going to go ahead and do our chocolate chips. And I am sitting here. One thing I did not look up was I was trying to remember how many chocolate chips I could have for 1 point. And I cannot remember. I want to say it was like 12. So that's what's going to go in here. It might be wrong. If it is wrong and it costs more points, I will let you guys know. I'm not super worried about the points because I do get the oatmeal for free because it is one of my free foods that I've chosen. I personally really like Lily's chocolate chips, and the dark chocolate chips are the ones that are opened, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. They're not my favorite, but I'm all about if you buy something, you're going to use it. I probably will not buy the dark ones again. I really like the milk chocolate chips. I also have butterscotch ones and mint flavored and semi-sweet. So we're going to go ahead and, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for some reason. We're going to put 11 in there. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then I think what I'm going to do to my other oats that I have sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and make myself a peanut butter chocolate chip, just because I've already got the PB2 powder out and I've got the chocolate chips out, and that will give me a different version. So I'll have 5 of these. I typically only make 4, but for whatever reason, I set up to make this many. So that is what I'm going to do. So let's get this peanut butter stirred in. And ideally, this should have already been stirred in when the milk was a little bit softer. You can see it's getting a little bit thick. You can see the chia seeds are already starting to absorb that milk, but we are going to make it work. That one is very pasty. So let's go ahead and add in, let's see, I don't know if I have anything else open that I want to go in with the peanut butter. I don't know if I've got, nope. So dark chocolate it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that is it, you guys, for making the version of overnight oats that I make. A lot of people have made comments saying they don't like overnight oats, and I can tell you guys this, until I found this recipe, I was not a big fan of overnight oats either. So to recap, we have got carrot cake, we have got peanut butter and jelly, we've got chocolate peanut butter, we've got almond chocolate. And here we've got almond chocolate, peanut butter and jelly, and our carrot cake overnight oats. Thanks you guys for joining me. I'll make sure and put the link down below for the recipes. Till I see you guys next time, remember to keep on smiling. Bye everybody.
When I shut my feelings out, you look at me like I'm different. Still you stay cause you feel something.